Hello and welcome to another episode of Arena FPS News. This week I'm with the almighty Greth. Unfortunately, Mr. Neeple is away without any internet access, so we have a guest star.
Yay.
And this week we're going to be looking at Reborn. So there was the amazing Reborn show on Sunday, and he showed off some new art, kind of based on feedback from the week before. An updated player model, which looked rather good. And updated weapon models based on feedback from last week. And he was talking about having backpacks which changed your movement. And he was suggesting the idea of having UT style movement and Quake style movement in the same game server. What do you think about that?
Absolutely mental. I mean, it will be a miracle. Well, let's just say that, already the Quake style movements, as much as I like playing Quake and I can strafe jump,
Yeah.
I think the newer games at least should be moving away from it. Like Reflex can't because it's CPMA, but even then it's easier to get into because it's faster, right?
Yeah.
It's completely insane. But if you're going to combine like literally the clash of the ages, which is Unreal dodging versus Quake style strafe jumping and acceleration, if he pulls it off, it'll be the miracle of the century, and he should be canonized by the Vatican, let's say.
I think it would be cool to have as an option. Like, I think there's still going to be the Quake movement servers and the UT movement servers and the Tribes movement servers and the CPMA movement servers. But if, like, for example, Capture the Flag, it would be quite cool to have someone who is doing flag running using, like, CPMA and someone doing defending as Quake, because it might play to the strengths of the different movement systems.
Unreal, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you have the dodge mechanic and indeed on defense, because that's the thing, Unreal is a lot more static.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
doesn't have flow. So, well, it has, but it's more chess pieces moving along rather than flying through corridors.
Yeah.
And it does lend to a different type of. I can see it happen.
Yeah.
I can see it. You can implement it easily enough. But I don't know if it's going to better the game or it's going to appeal to, again, a smaller audience rather than a larger audience. But, it's because it's going to freak out people, Call of Duty players. You could have Call of Duty movement in there as well, just running in straight lines, sprinting. That would be...
Yeah, and dolphin diving.
Yeah.
They also showed off, like, robot voice packs. So, similar to announcer packs, but you could, for your own robot, so let's say you're low on shield, it was this girl's voice saying, "Warning, your shield battery thing's low."
That would be the exact sentence, by the way, guys.
Yeah, exactly. I could do a voice pack. I'll voice one and submit it.
The armor you just picked up, yeah, that's still good. Okay,
Yeah.
good, yeah. You picked up an armor, good.
That's a weapon. Yep, that's a weapon you've got there. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely a weapon.
Yeah, it might be low on ammo though.
Yeah.
You know what? You're basically carrying Wheatley on your back. That's what
basically that'd be brilliant. I'd like that. Although I think I'm really up for it in kind of casual game modes, but I think if you're constantly being shouted at by your own character when you're in a competitive duel mode, that would be the most annoying thing.
There should be that's actually a very good business model. Have the most annoying voice in the game ever, and then just pay to disable it. But no, it's the whole thing that with the very good content that could be unlocked and that could please the attention span of the current gamer. Because
I think you've got to have that stuff in, and if you can do it in a non-offensive way, then that's good.
Yeah.
And also he showed off some menu music, which was pretty generic, and it's nothing really to talk about. But I thought it sounded good. It was kind of fairly upbeat, just kind of like it had a bit of a good theme to it. It could be improved, but whatever.
Good to show, but it's like menu music is, I think, in the first 10 seconds, most competitive players should just switch that thing off.
Yeah.
It has to be really good. The first 4 bars of music have to be amazing.
Yeah.
In order to survive that first settings rumble. Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully there's going to be a new alpha patch coming out quite soon, so you'll be able to go and make some assets and make some stuff for that game. So worth checking out. UT had a rather nice looking tutorial map, which kind of went through basic movement, some advanced movement. It also went through kind of how to use different weapons, like how to use a shot combo and how to use the kind of grenade launcher aspect of the rocket launcher. And I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, for a new player, it's
necessary.
Yeah, even like UT isn't necessarily as kind of, what's the word, like.
Well, not to lure out the debate, but let's just say that people need to be reintroduced to the very basics of an arena shooter.
Yeah.
Unreal is not the most advanced in that aspect.
I think it's more intuitive than. I think dodging is more intuitive than strafe jumping. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But even though it's quite intuitive, it still needs to be taught, and how best to do it. I think that's the most fair way to put it.
That it's not an optional thing. That's the main
Oh,
thing.
exactly. Yeah, and like to become good at Unreal movement, you've still got to get very, very good at it. It's not like it's easy mode.
No.
There's a lot of skill involved.
It's that's the thing. I mean, the real difference between, because I'm actually working on an article for this as well. Eventually, I'll post that. But it's the deal with Unreal is that it's closer, and this is very dangerous right now. Okay, it needs a lot of backing, but okay, fine. I'm going to say it anyway. It's closer to Counter-Strike in that the start of the duel is the most important thing, and the split-second reaction, it's very unforgiving. If you dodge the wrong way, you will be dead. It's the same thing that, if you're not in position when someone comes around the corner in Counter-Strike, you will be dead because he'll just kill you. Yeah. In Quake, the movement is more forgiving in that there's still some movement to be done during the duel. And the strafe jumping comes into that, and so in Unreal you have a lesser avenue of attack, let's say.
Yeah, I think this is a discussion for another day, so we'll move on.
Definitely.
There's also a flat cannon model which looks absolutely gorgeous.
I love it.
Yeah, it looks so good. It's really on par with the new. I would say it's even better than the new shock rifle. It's very good. Reflex. Let's just move on because we're running out of time. Reflex.
I just want to say that finally they're bringing back the original one, because the previous two were crap.
Yeah, they were crap.
That's it.
It's great. Definitely check it out. Reflex optimization patch today. Very good. Not a lot of like content, but I know some people have been having some issues with frame rates, and hopefully it should just kind of make the game easier in the future to develop on as well. So I'm all for optimization patches. There's not much to really say on it. And there was a Reflex EU tournament last weekend, organised by Zoot and the Z Live guys.
Yeah. And Carsten by Spult.
Yeah. I won't actually tell you who the winner was. You can go check it out yourself. We'll put the link in the description. It was rather a good VOD, and you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, it was completely mental. If you've never seen CPM gameplay before, which is what Reflex is based on, it's completely insane.
Yeah.
It's literally Quake on steroids. And yeah, it was a nice view on what needs to be done in terms of, the maps and stuff, because it's there was some really, if it's even well-matched players had shutouts of like 25 or something in terms of score.
I think it's good to kind of get really competitive gaming on these games as early as possible, because it pushes the games to the limit and lets the developers know kind of the things they need to change, the things they might need to like buff or nerf, or the map makers need to change the maps. So it's really good. Now there's a game which I'm going to struggle to pronounce, but I'm going to try anyway, called Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball, and it was released. I tried. I almost succeeded. There was a little bit of a stutter there. It was released on the 19th, I think, just a day after our last video, and it's been getting a lot of attention actually. If you look at the Steam charts, it's like rising well above all the other games, arena FPS games. Yeah. What do you think of it, first of all?
Well, I haven't personally played it just yet. I did the whole going to TB and watching his YouTube, and all right. It's kind of similar in spirit than I think Rat's Instigate, but
I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah, much more worked out, and properly framed, let's say, for the present day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think now it has its hype.
Yep.
But yeah, people are using the arena shooter word to describe it, and I believe it's cool. got some depth to it, but the way I see it, the things I've seen of it, is that I feel that maybe it's a little small scale. I'm not gonna say that it's bad, but I don't know. You could have tried a little bit more of it, but it's definitely just a thing to hop on and play, and there's depth to it. You know, the shooting mechanics and everything. That's good. I don't know if it's gonna be a staying presence. That's my concern there for a moment. But it's good. It's good for branding the scene. Let's say at this point, that's what I view it as right now.
Definitely. I've got a few thoughts on it. I think its downfall and its advantage might be the same thing, and it's very easy to pick up and very easy to play, but people might say, "Oh, I've played a few rounds and kind of, I'm done with it for the night." Whereas a game like Reflex or Wickland, you might want to like duel all night for hours and hours to improve. Whereas kind of a slightly more it is a more casual game, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I think having casual and hardcore arena FPS games and distinction between them is really good, and it's a good way to kind of someone who maybe never played arena FPS before might play a casual one and be like, okay, this is cool, but I want something a little bit kind of more with more mechanics, and they might find their way into Reflex or Wickland or Toxic or UT through a game like Robot Roller Dodgeball Disco Derby, whatever.
Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball.
That's the one. Well done.
It's not that hard. Just
I know.
Embrace it.
Embrace the. But it's a really good game. Definitely check out the WTF Ears. I've played quite a few hours of it, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And there's a lot of different game for like such a small developer. There's a lot of different game modes that will keep you entertained for quite some time. It's definitely worth the price.
Yeah, I hope it sticks around for a while, and it helps being an advocate to the heavier things out there, because that's something that, for instance, Wickland completely wasn't. It's that scared people away a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a much better game, a much deeper game, because yes, there's a skill ceiling in this Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball thing, but yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Now there's a guy I've heard of called Greth, and he's released an article that's been killing it on the esports scene. It's got reworded and rewritten by the fabled Kotaku, which basically stole it, but whatever.
I don't mind.
But this article was really good. It's excellently written. Definitely check it out if you've not seen it. And do you want to just talk through your feelings about it?
It was riddled with typos and bad sentence structure, and I'm actually dying a little inside reading it. But it's no. The thing is, right? I was asked. Well, it's been a couple of months or maybe even a year in the work. A small Belgian LAN, 1,000-seat LAN, not that small.
Yeah.
Didn't have Quake anymore. I was there to cast some StarCraft 2, and I said, for a laugh, let's get Quake back. And long story short, because it's a very long story, then suddenly I was in charge of bringing back Quake. And then this whole revival thing kind of happened in between, right? Because I was still doing the Tribes Ascent thing when I first brought this up. And there was a problem with sponsorship and everything, and la-di-da. There we are. First event just now passed. No announcement whatsoever. We kept it low down. I contacted ID for some spawn accounts for servers and stuff, and that's it. 16 people signed up, one dueler.
Yeah. Most
of the guys, because I went and talked to the people who signed up, being the sole admin. Well, no, there was people helping me, so I can't say that, but be feeling responsible for these people. And most of them had never played Quake, or had played it back in the day, maybe an hour or two, or played some Unreal and stuff.
Yeah.
And in that article, I basically write the epic of what happened there. So the people learning how to play Quake through this tournament. And the most beautiful thing was that they were getting destroyed left and right, but there were also evenly matched games. And those were great. Those were really good to watch, except for the fact that they didn't have any knowledge for strafe jumping or anything like that. No item timing. They didn't even know what the red armor did, let alone knowing to go for it. And yeah, they blossomed, and at the end, there was a really good match between two of these people who eventually did learn how to move and stuff. And yeah, it was nice. It's a symbol of what this arena scene needs to do. Namely, learn it from the start, because there's people who were born in the year that Quake came out that are now just starting to play it. So, and actually, yeah, FPS Pulse is gonna try and, well, Zoot's working on a tournament where lower brackets, let's say, or lower yellow players will be able to compete as well. And now, because of all the big stuff happening, Fragmatic is probably going to have a online chapter of the LAN, a prequel, let's say, to the LAN around May, to do that kind of thing as well, to just get people in and hopefully go over to the newer arena shooters as well.
Yeah.
But Quake is the brand. Everybody knows Quake, even though they've never played it. It's there, so we need to use it. And the strafe jumping is a hurdle that a lot of people need to get over. But yeah, there you go. It wasn't really that hard for the people who made it to the end of the tournament. At a LAN, it's easy to explain strafe jumping. You just show the mouse movement, and there you go. Yeah, I've got to do that with the movement keys. Voila, it's done. But getting it on an offline, on an online scene is a bit more difficult, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that article's over on FPS Pulse. You could definitely check it out. It's a really good read.
Well, the entire internet has already read it anyway. So.
Well, there might be one viewer who's like, "Oh wow, what's this article about? Let's check it out." So, Operation Hellstorm is a kind of a Kickstarter that was posted on the Arena FPS Reddit, and I'm not too enthralled, to be honest. I mean, it's got some good ideas in there. The problem is that there's a lot of text, not much actual kind of visual or video content about what it's actually going to do. It feels like a design document more than like something that I want to back. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, and this is I'm going to be really careful here, me mentioning many words and telling people that they're bad, but that's the thing happening here. I glazed over halfway through the text. I mean, they're only asking for $3,000, okay? And then hoping that it's on Indiegogo right now, hoping that they can get the stretch goals out of it, okay? But right now, there's no video, there's no concept, there's one screenshot, there's one concept art, which is also completely cluttered with 1,000 things. I see everything. I literally see, as you said, a design document with, you know, skills, items, enhancements, whatever, skins, class divisions. What is this? Is this lore? Is this something intended? So yeah, cut it down. Like the banner, for instance, I'm looking at the banner, has 1,000 things that they're gonna do, and they're all the buzzwords right now. This is what I'm sort of, you know, it's the tagline: a future past FPS arena like no other, aimed at taking from the best elements of 20 years of gaming. Okay, that's a sentence right there. Good, very good. This is what we want. Yes, arena shooters, very good, but they are making all of it, you know?
Yeah. I think they've only actually had 2 pledges, or 3 pledges. I mean, I'm not going to bash them too much because they look like they're doing the right kind of thing. Like, I like these, obviously I like these kind of games, but I think it might be good for them to kind of spend maybe another month or 2 refining the ideas, maybe getting a bit of video footage, and then trying to do another Indiegogo or Kickstarter or whatever project in maybe a few months' time when they're a little bit more refined, a little bit further down the line, and they're more likely going to succeed. Because they might succeed, like they might get a load of funding in the next couple of months, but I don't. Yeah. I feel like they're a little bit low on just its content.
That's the thing. I mean, looking at the screenshot, they have literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grey boxes, and
tons of text.
Yeah, even there, an entire conversation going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is not bashing. This is like, hello, we'd like to really see what you guys are doing, but we can't right now.
Yeah.
And it's also it's really strange to say this, but it's gonna be a competitive market, the arena shooter, because there's always going to be the ones that pop up, you know. I mean, Project Freefall, mentioning that name, just that, because right now we don't have much to show. And that's the same thing, we're keeping quiet. We're just saying the name now and then.
Yeah.
And because we also have these kind of documents, you know?
Yeah. I think, overall, really, these games are fun and good and great, but I don't want to, sit and bash this idea, but at the same time, I don't want to support something just because it's an arena shooter. I don't want to be just a blind proponent of arena shooter games no matter how bad they are. I'm in a position where I want to call things out and say, improve, and you'll get more attention. I think that's pretty much my final thoughts on it. Rekt, or hashtag Rekt, I always get this wrong. Hashtag Rekt did a Rekt Tuesday video. It just came out today. Again, I've not had time to look at it, but their game's coming on quite well, actually. I did a playtest with Neeple just after the podcast, which would have been 2 weeks ago, and it's coming on quite nicely. It's not quite as far along as other games, but they've got some really cool concepts, and I like to see how they get. So check out that video, and it's kind of a, not a tournament, but kind of a what would you call, a casual tournament kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just getting as many people to play as possible. And they really are in the stage where there's no sort of artwork. There's one weapon with artwork, which is, it's actually equal to Reflex in that, but Reflex has a player model as well, which Rekt doesn't have yet. But they're still fleshing out the movement, and the movement is, I think, rather streamlined at this point. Yeah,
it's definitely better. Every time I see Rekt, it's actually moving on quite well. Yeah. Which is what I like about that game.
Because I like to defend it a little bit, because it's also one of those arena shooters out there, but they really have no sort of pretension going on. I mean, on the arena FPS Reddit, there was someone saying, because Winters always goes, the game everyone's talking about. That's what his tagline is when he starts talking about Rekt. Is, of course, ironically. Yeah? It means that ironically. Because it's nowhere yet, you know, but it's definitely there, and it's got potential. I think if they are going to continue with this, and they are going to stick to it, and I think it could be a contender, but it's going to be several months still, at least, before it's ready for any sort of large scale marketing ploy.
Yep. But yeah, check out the video. I mean, it's cool to watch people just go around fragging each other for a while. So I think that pretty much sums up everything. This has run a little bit longer than usual, but
no, I wonder why.
Well, it's partly your fault. There's more news this week than usual, but it is partly your fault. You're very talkative. It's great. I like it. We'll have you on another podcast soon, and you'll be able to express your feelings and ideas to the world.
Good. The world needs more of that, I think.
It does. So I've been Galangua. This has been Mr.
Greth, I think. Yeah.
Greth, you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll have more content for you very soon.